Hey everyone, guess who's back? Back again. That's right. We got Peyton and I, and we're talking about the severe weather risk. And so the severe weather risk is definitely more likely in the River Valley. Jacob just commented on here, and Northwest Arkansas, except for the River Valley. So I was a little surprised they went so far with the risk in terms
Yeah.
of the severe thunderstorm watch. You saw it earlier on the screen, but we were just about ready to walk out. So this is Peyton Langford. If you're just tuning in for the first time on Facebook Live, it's been pretty quiet. There hasn't been much activity. This is our new meteorologist.
Nice to meet y'all.
Yeah.
Peyton Langford, newest meteorologist. Glad to be joining the team.
That's right. And you come from graduated from Texas A&M, went to Arkansas for a year and a half, and so you're going to be seeing him a lot more. Right now, he's just kind of working behind the scenes, doing some training in the weather graphics. And so, anyways, weather can change on a dime around here for sure, right?
Yes, definitely. It's definitely pretty tricky up here.
So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at how heating, cooling, mega Doppler. And there are some thunderstorms that are starting to push into Northwest Arkansas. They're not really focused as much on the River Valley yet, but this storm right here that's going to be approaching Wilburton and Red Oak and Fanshawe, that's going to be a little bit of a stronger storm, perhaps becoming severe. Now, if you look to the north, there's a thunderstorm that was severe warned earlier. It kind of fell apart, wouldn't you say, Peyton? Pretty quick.
Yeah,
That didn't hold together very long at all. And so there's a little bit of thunderstorm activity. We're going to show you on the future track that we'll see additional shower and storms. Hey, someone likes your tie clip.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I think the cell to watch after the one that split is the one that's after it split. Just east of Wagner. It's now got some lightning to it after it kind of died down.
Yeah. So that's going to be, they're going to pulse up, they're going to develop, and then they're going to pulse up, and then they're going to die off, and then redevelop. And so they're going to cycle multiple times. But there is enough wind shear now where we have an actual steering flow. Unlike a couple weeks ago, we had these pop-ups and they were moving any rhyme or reason. They're just basically all over the place. So let's show you that severe thunderstorm watch if you're just hopping on. Nobody's leaving. We're adding a fourth meteorologist. So just to let you know, nobody's leaving. You don't have to worry. We actually got a full weather team and we're ready to rock and roll. So there's a look at 11-11 here. Double 11s, and we've got that severe thunderstorm watch. And we just wanted to hop on here, let you know that there could be some rumbles of thunder. There could be some small hail, maybe a little larger hail in southern Arkansas.
Yeah.
There's a pretty stout storm there. I'll show you that in just a bit. And you can actually see those severe thunderstorm warnings that are headed just to the north of Hot Springs. And so not really impacting us, but severe thunderstorm watch goes until 6 a.m. That's a long time. Now, keep in mind, 6 a.m. isn't necessarily for our area. This is why it's sometimes a little bit confusing with these watches and the expiration times. 6 a.m. will be to the entire eastern edge of this watch.
Yeah.
Could expire even a little sooner. So we'll have to continue to see that. Hopefully the worst avoids Northwest Arkansas. Boy, it sure has been a while. 72 hours in DFW.
Yeah.
And Josh, you're in the Northwest Ark or in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, all right. So check this out here. There's that considerable severe thunderstorm warning with golf ball size hail, perhaps even larger. We got a little bit of small hail now developing with this cell, and we'll show you the future track radar and what you can expect overnight tonight. Keep in mind the models are kind of struggling mightily with this, but they definitely have the energy developing and some thunderstorm activity. So this has a little bit of small hail with it. If we look at mega Doppler, how heating cooling mega Doppler is, Peyton mentioned that right turner that we're watching. And so first of all, let us know, Peyton, why all these storms are happening right now. Why are we seeing this energy in these thunderstorms?
Yeah. So this is water vapor, and this can help show the steering mechanisms for storms. So we can see after all that big activity in the Texas Panhandle, there's a lot of energy behind it.
Those cells were tremendous, too.
Yes.
That was a complex of storms. I wish I was chasing because, well, it was kind of tough to chase because it was moving southeast. And I was talking to some people. They said it was moving like 50 knots. That thing was cooking. It was moving fast. And it did create some big hail. We're talking softballs.
Yeah, softball.
Massive. On Twitter, I actually have some photo. I retweeted one. Check it out if you have Twitter. at Weather Dan, just massive hail. But there's the energy, and you can actually see this low. I'm going to circle it. I'm going to highlight it. And so here is that low, and then you can see it kicking east, and that's what's firing off the thunderstorms in advance of that, ahead of that. Now, if we speed this up a little bit more, you can really see that spin, and then the kicker system that's moving out. So there's the spin, there's the low, there's the energy moving through. Wow, look at that at the last minute. You can really see that, Peyton. Incredible energy that's getting kicked. So here's the low. Watch that thing get kicked east. And remember, the thunderstorm activity is ahead of the spin. It's not directly over. Right. It's the spin in the atmosphere, and east of that is where you get the rising motion. So what is going to happen overnight tonight? That's the question everybody wants to know. Let's get to it. We'll look at the future track models. Keep in mind, take these with a grain of salt, although I do think they have somewhat of a good handle on what's going on. So we'll start off with the graph. How about that? This is the IBM graph. It's a proprietary model to IBM and to the weather company, which is this weather graphic system. So first and foremost, overdone. Too much thunderstorm activity at 11 o'clock. So that's not good. But it does show those thunderstorms rolling in. I personally believe quarter size hail will be about as big as we get. Maybe $50, 1.25. I don't think it gets above ping pong. What do you think? Is there
I was
something I'm missing?
Like nickel size.
Yeah,
nickel to quarter.
Nickel to quarter. That's what I was thinking too. So you guys are asking, what time will it hit Bentonville? Well, we don't even know if it will hit Bentonville, honestly, because these storms might be focused just a little bit south. And I would say, looking at everything, maybe Bentonville won't see as much. Maybe a few rumbles of thunder, but this is going to be focused more in the river valley. And then you can see that activity kind of lingering into the morning hours. After 4 a.m., all this stuff will be out of here. So you don't have to worry about hail and storms through 6 a.m. That's for the eastern side of the watch. I think it moves out even quicker. So that's the graph 3 kilometer. Let's check out the graph 4 kilometer. So this is a little bit less resolution, and you can see the way that the storms don't look quite as detailed. So that shows you that it's lower resolution. It does have a little bit of storm activity around 2 o'clock in the morning over Bentonville. So you guys are wondering, if you're wondering what time it does move into Bentonville, it would be around 2 to 3 a.m. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. I want to experience a tornado. Not where you live, though. If you want to experience a tornado, do it like storm chasing. When you're out in the middle of nowhere, there's a field, and nothing's going on. How bad will it get in Fort Smith, Arkansas? Not terrible, Christopher. I mean, maybe some small hail. It might even be avoiding the Fort Smith area. Again, going back to the radar and the latest imagery, and we got that thunderstorm rolling in. And there will be additional development, I do believe. But right now, everything's kind of quiet. As you can see, it's extremely isolated.
It's expected to blow up once it crosses the state line, it seems like.
Yeah, I think it will. Yeah, maybe it's got a little bit of larger hail, so maybe quarter size. We could be experiencing a severe thunderstorm warning for western Lafleur County.
Definitely put the cars in the garage tonight.
I would. Yeah, that's a good idea. Definitely as a precautionary measure. Okay, so that's that. Let's look at the HRRR 3 kilometer. And so this would be the short range HRRR. And let's see, what do you got here? This is updated every hour, by the way. Yep, we got a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to answer why it's questioned.
Okay.
Tornado potential? No, unlikely. The main threat is hail here, and maybe some strong winds.
And why is that? Why do you think that is?
What?
That there's no tornado potential.
Oh, just all the ingredients aren't there for tornadoes. Like, you have to have the shear, lift, instability, and moisture.
Yeah.
The SLIM acronym, as I like to put it.
Yeah, SLIM.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's a slim chance we see a tornado.
Right.
Why, though? What ingredients is missing? We've got somewhat instability, right? We've got lift because we got the energy moving in. I would say it's the shear. The low-level shear is lacking big time. There can always be a surprise, but I just really think the tornado potential is very slim.
Yes.
Excuse the pun with the acronym.
Right.
So what's that acronym? SLIM again?
SLIM. Shear, lift, instability, and moisture. For those who don't know what shear is, that is just the change in the winds with height.
Changing the wind speed
Yeah.
and direction and or direction with height.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you need a little bit, but not a lot. If you have too much, the storm's going to get ripped apart from the top down. But just enough, it could
Yeah.
help fuel that storm.
Jacob knows a lot about the weather because he's asking about the mesoscale discussion. There was no MCD with this. It was just kind of like a continuation of the original MCDs that were off to the west. And so it just kind of, the watch kind of popped up, to be honest with you as well for us. We knew there's severe weather potential. You saw the severe weather risk. We'll highlight that here coming up in just a bit. But why don't we take a look at this future track? This is updated every hour. And so that shows storm activity kind of blossoming as that stronger energy and lift moves in. Now, this is where the hail could be a little bit bigger. So we're talking quarter size, maybe $50. Perhaps maybe a little bit bigger. It could be that cluster of storms that's moving into LaFleur County that could be a little stronger. But there's your energy, and then watch how quick this moves out. It's gone by 4:30 in the morning. It's out of here. Yeah. So I know 4:30 in the morning is kind of like a let's just say a little bit of a nervous time. What's a trigger time? Because that's the time the tornado came through in Springdale. So if you hear 4 a.m., it's kind of like, I hope it doesn't happen at that time. How about this? Penny's asking question. I know this is the way off. I know this is way off. Oh, I thought you were saying this is the way. Like, have you ever watched Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Penny, this is the way. But how is Joplin doing since that last bad tornado that wiped everything? So that would have been May 22nd, 2011. And the Joplin tornado, you know, they've done some rebuilding. There are some areas that still don't have buildings to this day over the area where the tornado hit. But there's been a lot of progress for sure. The school has been rebuilt. They got a brand new school. The Technology Institute has been rebuilt. And someone that's saying, you know, what could happen, someone that's saying in the Joplin area could probably tell me more, because I'm not a resident there. I've just seen what I saw. So what about Saturday? We're getting questions about Saturday. Let's talk about Saturday. Saturday, I'm not sure it's going to be a rough day. If it will be, it's going to be mainly Saturday evening into Sunday morning. There will be a little bit of a spin in the atmosphere that comes this way. Let's show you why this weather pattern is so darn active. This is a model, and this is showing the European model. And what it is it's vorticity. So the vorticity is the amount of spin in the atmosphere. And the stronger the spin, the greater the lift. And so that's going to lead to some thunderstorm activity, which could be a little bit more intense thunderstorms. So we'll highlight that in just a second. What are you doing, man? Is my camera, did it become freeze frame? No, it didn't. I'm trying to go to bed, y'all, and try to sleep. Yep, you'll be able to sleep, but there will be a little bit of noisy times. So real quick, we'll go through this, and then we'll show you the timing of the rain. So here's the system that's coming through tonight. See that little spin in the atmosphere? And what we can do is I will zoom in on this. There we go. I'm going to zoom in on this so you can kind of see the spins in the atmosphere. So here comes the next one. That's off to the west. What's going on here? This is not highlighting. It's not animating very well. Let's let all the data load.
Theme of the day.
Yeah. Now there's a severe thunderstorm warning for LaFleur County, just like we mentioned. So new severe thunderstorm warning for those that are in LaFleur County. That's what we were talking about, and you'll see it here in just a second. So here's a look at Mega Doppler. There's a thunderstorm that's popping up. It's got quarter-size hail. Yeah, the storm's increased quite a bit, and that's going towards Red Oak, and it's going to increase basically by Fanshawe. So, all right. I mean, it's always doom and gloom with that, man. So we'll see how this goes. But here's a look at Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. There's the thunderstorms rolling through. And then there's the energy right here. As you'll see on Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler, there's a thunderstorm. As soon as it becomes updated and severe, we'll see that. I know it's not the other storm.
No,
That's for
no way.
sure. There
Oh,
we
there we
go.
go.
Finally. Everything's kind of going slow. I think we got a hiccup on our internet. So there's a new severe thunderstorm warning, quarter size hail. Possibly, I think the winds are going to be a little bit lesser of a threat. We're just not going to have the mix down of the winds to the boundary layer. So back to Saturday. I know you guys are already talking about Saturday. Well, Saturday is questionable because I think the timing of this is going to be Saturday night. Come on, go. So there's the energy coming through Friday. I think Friday morning we're going to have some pretty stout storms,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
some severe weather too.
Mhm.
There's a lot of energy coming through Friday morning. Then that moves out for the middle of the day Friday. Then the storm activity leaves. Then we're going to see more storms popping up. So here's Saturday. Saturday's pretty quiet during the morning and into the afternoon. But there are these little subtle pieces of energy. And I'm not sold exactly if this is going to be a big deal during the daytime Saturday, but Saturday night, I could see that getting introduced in the terms of a severe weather risk.
Yeah.
So, how does this look with the future track? Well, let me show you what we're talking about here as we look at the European model. So, here's a look at the future track that shows some storms popping up in the morning hours on Friday. That's where I think there's going to be a little bit of a severe weather risk. Then as we move throughout Friday evening, the storms move out. So the rest of our Friday should be good. Saturday morning will be good. Saturday afternoon will be good. I think that warm front lifts northward, and then we get additional storms popping up. So if anything, that would be more of like a heavy rain event that develops. I haven't looked at the shear, to be honest with you, because this far out, if you're highlighting exactly what's happening with severe weather potential without even an outlook,
Yeah.
it's a little
You
bit
could pull up the jet
premature.
stream.
Oh, yeah.
See if we can see if there will be that deep layer shear to support those thunderstorms.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll look at that. So that goes Saturday night into Sunday morning. And then by Father's Day afternoon, I think those storms are going to be moving out. So is there jet stream energy that supports that? Well, let's check it out. And then we'll go through that timing. So there's Friday. Plenty of energy moving in for Friday. Here's the energy coming in for Saturday. Yeah, I would say there's definitely an upper level system.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be more of Saturday night.
Yeah. Saturday night into the early hours of Sunday
Yeah.
morning.
All right. So we're getting some questions about pulling the car in the garage. I would, just considering the environment, and you got the large potential for hail. We're already seeing that quarter size hail with this cell. That's it's very small, but it does have that quarter size hail, perhaps even larger. It's still quarter size hail, and that doesn't have the damaging wind potential. Here's a tiny little cell that could blossom and develop later. You can see how it's split and it weakened, and so it's struggling. There are additional cells that are popping up to the west, so we're not done. And it looks like this bulk of the energy is coming in later on tonight. So,
Yeah. And especially those northern cells north of Tulsa will be coming into a more favorable environment.
Rachel had a fun comment. She says, "At least we're not at a ball game this time. Last time we were trying to watch the Razorback game, Josh and I, and there was lightning around the stadium, but not at the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
So they delayed the
Yeah.
game. There was no rain. It didn't rain a drop at the stadium. Then they start the game again, and this is a game we're getting blasted by TCU.
Oh, yeah.
Just
remember seeing you
absolutely
live.
crushed. They hit 2 grand slams before the third inning. It was like, and then to add fuel to the fire, let's cancel the game. Let's not cancel, but postpone it due to lightning. So charge up your cell phones. That's a good idea as well. Let's show you the rain chances and the timing. So here's your forecast for tonight. 8 ball to confirm severe hail and storms. We should get the 8 ball out. Yeah, let's do it. So it's, you know where it's at? Yeah, you saw it.
Right where it's at.
He saw the 8 ball. No, if you're fishing now, you're good. But just be aware that you'll probably see some lightning off in the distance throughout the night. You think Rogers has the ability to get anything? I think the farther north you go, the risk is less, but I still think thunderstorms are going to be possible. But it's tough to say exactly where those storms will develop. So here's a look at the hail risk, and you'll see it's low as soon as this updates. Come on. Man, things are really slow. Might need to close all the computers down. So there's a look at the large hail risk. And you can see how that misses Fayetteville and Bentonville. And so in terms of the severe threat, it looks to remain just south of the Bentonville, Fayetteville, Huntsville, Springdale area. So that's what I think. Does that mean you won't get any thunderstorms? No. Does it mean you can't get any hail? No. But as far as the bigger hail and the bigger threat, it's going to be more focused to the south. So there's the big, massive hail that's in the Dallas area. Boy, they have just been getting hammered. If we go up a little bit farther northwest, you can see the large hail that came through the Texas Panhandle. And then finally, here's a look at the new day one convective outlook. And you can see that threat definitely is focused more in the River Valley. So that's kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah, it's like the dividing line is the.
So someone has a question. Bobby says, sorry, tuned in late. Radar doesn't look like it's hitting Centerton area at all. Well, here's the problem with radar. Radar doesn't show you the developing storms that are expected to develop later on. So while everything's quiet, that could change later on tonight. Now, granted, the farther north you go, the worse the potential is for severe weather. So the lower the potential. But if you look off to the west, you can see additional development popping up. And so here's a look at additional energy that's moving in. So what you're seeing on the radar is just these little isolated storms and just the beginning of those isolated storms. I'm still wondering why they went all the way to Benton County with that watch. Because if you look at the watch outline, it doesn't include Benton and barely any of Washington County. But then you look at the counties that were included in the watch, and it does include Benton County as well as Delaware County. Now, here's the issue. They probably did that because of the left mover storm that popped up that was earlier severe warned and has since collapsed.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's what we got there. Let's take a look at some other future track models. Well, the NAM 3 kilometers terrible. That barely has anything.
Yeah. A lot of the models have not been good these past few weeks.
They really haven't. In fact, someone said that. So you want to do the 8-ball thing? Let's do it. All right. So will there be did it break? It took a beating here. No, we're good. Will there be severe hail in the Benton, Washington County area? So that's quarter size or larger.
I'm thinking no.
Very doubtful. Telling you, man. I'm telling you, the 8-ball is good. It's our 5th meteorologist. It's really good. Actually, Peyton's our 5th. This is the 4th meteorologist.
Right. It was here before me.
I'm just kidding. I'm going to go to bed. Night, y'all. Sleep well. Okay, that was an older comment. So, unique pattern for June. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is fairly rare June pattern and an ENSO transition. I think you're right on that because the subtropical jet stream is very active in an El Nino year. We're transitioning to an El Nino. And with all this energy that's moving overhead, it's just like, would you stop, please? It just doesn't quit. It's just always this subtle pieces of energy, some instability, some storm activity, very slow radar, very slow computers. Let's see here. Going back to this, here's the high resolution water vapor. And we zoom out, and you're going to see all this additional energy moving in from the west. And it's almost like a stream, which it is. It's a subtropical stream. So check this out. All those little pieces of energy, all these little short waves right here. One that's moving through here that's firing up thunderstorms, another one. And the problem is the weather is not going to shut down completely because here's the ridge of high pressure. We're on the northern periphery of this ridge. Now, if this high was located basically right on top of us, then guess what? The jet stream would go way up and over us, and then there wouldn't be any thunderstorms. So it's pretty active. And it's been.
Especially with the waters getting warmer off the Pacific, off the Baja Peninsula.
Yeah.
You're going to see those stronger winds start to develop and really have a lot more energy move from where we see it now into our area. The jet stream stays that way.
That's right. Let's see if we can catch this storm. So there's a look at the water vapor. So what's going to happen after this breaks down? Is this ridge of high pressure finally going to build in? And I think it does.
Yeah.
And I know you do as well. And let's show you the heat that's going to be building in by the end of the month, or the end of the week, really. So let me show you the jet stream here. Go back to this, and we'll load up the jet stream all the way. It still isn't quite settling in. So there's a system that comes through Sunday. There's Monday. See how that ridge doesn't quite build in perfectly? It's close, but it's not directly over us. So all those storms could still be possible. There's the breakdown in the ridge.
Seems like we'll be teeter-tottering every day.
Every day.
Above it or below it.
Yep. There's been a lot of pop-up cells. Isaac mentioned it right there.
Definitely.
100%. So many pop-ups, and it just doesn't quit. It just
all those
doesn't
little
seem
pieces
to stop.
of energy and all that moisture.
Yep.
Going to create all those pop-ups.
And they're frustrating because I know you want to know if it's going to rain at your location, and you're like, what about Bentonville? What about Centerton? What about Bella Vista? We can't really tell you a day and a half in advance. We can tell you a few hours, well, really an hour before they develop, but that's about it. So we'll go back to Mega Doppler. Here's that severe storm. It's got quarter-size hail, maybe even a little larger, close to golf balls. So there is a look at that storm. That's headed towards LaFleur County. Let's do a storm track on that for people that are wondering in the LaFleur County area. So, Peyton, I'm going to teach you guys how to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do this as well, you guys. There's only one person here. It's been a long day. You could come on in, except for vacuuming. If you could wait for the vacuum just a little bit, because I'm doing a live update. 10. 10. Thank you. They want to clean the studio. And then you won't be able to hear anything if they're vacuuming. But here is a look at that severe thunderstorm warning. And it goes until 12:15. And we're looking at quarter-size hail, but I think it might get upgraded. It looks like it might be a little bit bigger. It's a little bit more of a stout cell. And if we look at the speed of this, it's moving to the east at approximately 35 miles an hour. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a storm track on this. We're going to set the speed 35. And we're going to take this and we're going to go from the actual hail core. That's going to be the most dangerous area. So we'll take this, we'll move it east over the next hour. And there's the areas that are going to be impacted. So Red Oak in 10 minutes. Fanshawe just after midnight, Worcester 12:20, just about, and Poto at 12:30. So it's going to be right in the heart of LaFleur County. Now here's a question: will there be severe hail in the River Valley? This should be a better answer.
Yeah, we'll see. And
it says you may rely on it.
You will see.
There is something to this 8-ball.
Might have to take that 8-ball to Vegas.
I know, no kidding. Will I hit the jackpot? Yeah, is that on this slot? I'm headed to Little Rock tomorrow. Will I be okay? So yeah, you will. If you head out during the late morning, you won't even see any storms. They'll be all gone. Everything's going to be out of here. Now, if you're leaving overnight tonight, you'll be fine for now, but there will probably be additional storms that pop up. Ooh, Hot Springs is getting a pretty stout storm. So check this out for those that are in the central Arkansas area, not really in our weather coverage area. I'm going to bring this up and we'll show you. I'm going to save this, by the way, just so I don't lose it. And we'll go back to our radar here. So here's how heat and cooling Mega Doppler showing this is a big storm that's headed towards Hot Springs. See that little black outline? This means a considerable thunderstorm with at least golf ball size hail and or 70-mile-an-hour winds. The hazard with this storm is 2-inch hail. So we're talking hen egg size hail that's headed towards Hot Springs. So pretty big storm. A lot of lightning with that, and that's traveling maybe a little bit to the north of Hot Springs. Looks like the hail core might hit between Mountain Pine and Hot Springs if it doesn't change. So those are the big storms. You can see the energy, you can see the front, all that stuff, and then you get up here and, you just don't have quite as much. But I still think some thunderstorms will be happening. So if you're watching from all across the area, let's highlight this. Northwest Arkansas, what do you think?
For
Thunderstorm potential and for hail potential.
Yeah, I think most of the hail potential is going to be south of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel.
Yep.
No larger than golf ball.
Around here, probably less than quarter.
Oh, here
Yeah.
less than quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the River Valley,
River Valley,
maybe no larger than golf
Yeah,
ball.
no larger.
Golf ball's still pretty big, and that could still do some damage for sure. But here's a look at the timing if you're wondering about all this. So we've got 40% overnight tonight. Notice it's not really there yet. So more energy is moving in. It'll probably pop up some storms. Remember that severe thunderstorm watch goes until 6 a.m. Then you've got a look at the timing of that. It drops off during the morning. So Deanna, if you're traveling to Little Rock, you should be fine during the late morning into the afternoon. No more storms. Then as we move into our Wednesday night, then we have more development occurring. Those might be a couple of severe storms too. I think that we have a severe weather risk for the day 2 convective outlook. I will highlight that here real quick. So this is a wide view of the day 1. Then we're going to look at the day 2. My goodness, why is this taking so long to load?
Theme of the day.
Wow, it takes a long time. So there's a look at the day 1. That's why we have this little boundary right here that's going to fire off additional storms. The closer you are to the boundary, the better the chance for severe weather. That's why that storm in LaFleur County is going severe.
Yeah.
If we look at the day 2 convective outlook, this shows you that threat. Granted, it's an enhanced farther southeast, so that's a stronger cluster of storms. But I think this is for tomorrow evening and into our early Thursday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that risk right there. Can dogs tell if a storm is coming? 100%. Yeah, animals can definitely tell. Night, Rachel. Hope you have a good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Arkansas fizzle will happen, and I'll call it $5. Fizzle out, Dan. Or not. What are we calling for? Thunderstorms in general? I think we see thunderstorms in general.
Yeah.
In spots, not everywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fizzle completely, I don't know about that. They're getting some pretty sizable hail in Hot Springs.
It's moving into a favorable environment.
Yeah.
More moisture.
I just don't think it's
a little bit
completely dies
Yeah.
off.
It's a little warm pocket of moist air.
And there's that severe thunderstorm watch that's going.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at the satellite radar, you can see the energy moving in. You can see that one cluster of storms starting to weaken finally. That thing went all the way from basically southeast Colorado. Let's take a look at this because this supercell went a long ways. This will be kind of cool to see. So there it is, southeast Colorado. Well, really northeast New Mexico. That was the start of it. And imagine trying to follow this as it accelerated. Look at that. There's the tornado warning. There's the confirmed tornado that's going to be popping up here real soon. There's a confirmed tornado with a black outline, another confirmed. You can see that thing spinning. That creates an MCV. There it is racing to the southeast. That thing definitely accelerated. Look at the winds. We're talking catastrophic, destructive winds. Yeah. And then basically that one storm had its own watch.
Well, we won't have anything like that here. We will have some of the energy from that.
There we go. So if we look here, little bit of development here and there, but that doesn't even have lightning anymore. That's definitely weakened quite a bit. So one last look at the future track here. We'll update you, and then that's going to be it. So here's a look at the storm activity popping up. And you can see that parts of northwest Arkansas will see some storms. So there you go. That's actually a pretty sizable one at 4 o'clock in the morning. But remember, the low-level wind shear is not great, right. So the tornado potential is very low. It's always not zero when you have severe weather potential, but it's very low. Then it moves off to the east, and by 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, this is actually updated. So I would still put your cars away regardless if you're in northwest Arkansas or the River Valley.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
Yeah. How about there's a bunch of these long-lived supercells. A storm with grapefruit hail in DFW is a left split. We were actually talking about this, Joshua. The left split is the ones that produce the largest hail.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that to be the case, but meteorologically, I don't understand it. I don't know why. And we
Yeah.
were trying to figure it out. And that's something that we'll have to ask. So Fayetteville's safe to sleep. All of you are safe to sleep. You might hear some rumbles of thunder. You might hear some hail coming down. This is not going to be life-threatening information unless something changes. But you know what? Josh Rugger is back in town from his vacation. He will be on in the morning, and he'll be watching those storms like a hawk. So he'll be able to tell you on KNWA today what's happening and if things get out of hand. Right now, though, that storm's starting to weaken as it approaches western Lafleur County, and I think we're about to shut this down. Peyton, you want to say anything? Last updates at all? That's starting to weaken.
Yeah, it does look like it's starting to weaken. It is going to be interesting as it crosses the state line
to see what it does,
to
right?
see what's going to happen.
So that sums it up, guys. We're going to have some storms. Real quick recap. I always like to end with a 7-day in case you missed it on the newscast. So here's a look at that 7-day forecast, and then that's going to end our Facebook Live and our live weather update. So it's not just Facebook that we're on. But here's a look at the 5-day forecast. So there's the storm chances. Notice we don't have anything severe. We don't have severe wording yet. I think that's too premature, in my opinion. I can see it happening, but I still think it's a little premature. So we got 60% chance of storms in the morning. By the way, that actually is 40%. We've downgraded it and lowered it a little bit. The reason it's still 60 because I force updated that. Remember, it was all screwed up. So let's hit OK, and we're going to see that drop down to 40%.
Something with the internet today.
Yeah, man, it's really slow.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's the 40% chance of storms overnight. Notice the break in the rainfall during the middle of the day. In the evening, around 8 o'clock, we got more storm activity. Then it's a break Thursday, basically all day. Friday, we have a chance of storms. Saturday, we have a chance of storms in the evening into Father's Day morning. And then after that, the heat really starts to build in with temperatures hitting the mid-90s. So it is going to be hot next week. And maybe some storm chances, but as of now, we've kind of removed it out of the forecast just because it does look like that ridge is going to be building in. But there could be still a stray pop-up in the higher terrain. River Valley storms a little bit greater for the potential, 60%. Thursday in the upper 80s, Friday in the mid-90s, and Saturday and Sunday in the mid-90s. And Josh, I got to say this. I've lost my hope in the Texas Tech WRF, 3-kilometer WRF. It showed a lot of rain a couple of days ago. That didn't happen. It's been showing a lot of storms, and it just kind of overdoes it. So.
Yeah, a lot of models have been severely overdoing or severely underdoing, so we've had to fall back to what we know, and that is the physics behind meteorology.
Yep.
And that's been driving our forecast, and I think that's been doing a really good job.
I think it has, absolutely, for sure. All right, I'm headed to bed myself. I'm getting tired. Yeah. No storms tomorrow night for Foo Fighters. You know, actually, I do have to mention that. We do have to do the update on that. So here is the Foo Fighters forecast. There will be some storm potential tomorrow evening. And there it is. So with that energy moving in, that's going to be a problem, I think. There you see it popping up. So that is tomorrow evening. Maybe it misses Rogers. There's a possibility of that. But there's enough energy where more of those subtle pieces that could provide some storm activity. So that's the HRRR. Here is a 3-kilometer WRF that shows storms as well. Close. Maybe it'll be a little south of Rogers. That's what we can hope.
Yeah.
Because Foo Fighters.
Hopefully won't rain anything out.
Yeah. How about this? He says, I don't even look at it anymore. Its outputs have been a joke. It's like it was cursed when we said it was good. HRRR has also been bad as well. Yeah, the RRFS has been better, but not great either. So
probably because a lot of these storms are generating from those boundary layer, those lower level conditions, and the models just don't have the computing power to resolve all the way down there.
There you go. That sums it up. I hope those storms remain south for Foo Fighters and for your sake. So enjoy the concert. Have a great night. If something gets bad, Josh will be on in the morning. He'll let you know. Tune in to KNWA today. But for Peyton and I, peace out. We'll see you later. Have a good one. God bless.